Welcome to the Sacramento Living Podcast. I'm Amy Tremayne, Sacramento native and local real estate expert, and this is your show for the inside guide to living, buying, and investing in Sacramento, from the local sites and businesses that we all love to the ones that you haven't heard about yet. If you're thinking about moving to Sacramento or buying and selling here, I help people do that every day. You'll find links below so that you can book a call with me, view properties, and check out the value of your home. I'm here today with Mark Daya. He's the owner of SAC Platinum Realty and the brokerage, which I hang my license at. Thank you so much for joining me, Mark.
Oh, thanks for inviting me. This is fun.
Absolutely. So, for listeners who don't know yet, who is Mark Daya and how did you get started in real estate?
I've been selling real estate for about 20 years now, actually, a little over 20 years, believe it or not. It's hard to even say that out loud, but it's true. Yeah, I got into real estate a few years after college. First became a loan officer, and I didn't really like it that much. I don't know, I just couldn't get behind selling the numbers. And then I was fortunate enough to have been invited to do an open house with another agent. And that agent, I just got to observe her, and I just found that way more exciting, way more appealing, just more. I thought I was a numbers guy, and I guess I am, but when it comes right down to it, it didn't excite me. The buying and selling process excited me. The people excited me, not the numbers, you know? So
Yeah, I
that's
totally
how I got into
understand.
the business originally.
Yeah, I totally understand. I don't think I could do lending. And it takes it's actually two different kinds of personalities that work in lending versus real estate.
It's
So,
true.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so 20 years in the business. Well, then what inspired you to start SAC Platinum Realty?
Gosh, well, I started it in 2019, and I felt like I needed to establish a new brand, a new identity. I really didn't like what was out there. I could have easily joined some big box brokerage. They're out there. They're great, provide support, but it just wasn't me, right? It didn't match my personality because I like to do things my own way. And when I was with one of those larger offices, I found myself when I really looked at it, I didn't use any of the tools. Everything that I did, I found myself. I cultured it myself. I made it so it suited me and my needs, and I just kind of picked the best of the best that was out there and incorporated into the tools that helped me grow my business and help me support my clients. But so ultimately, I thought, okay, I could do this kind of on my own, but not entirely. I did team up with Side, which is a fantastic platform out in the Bay Area where, they give me all my legal support, all my tech support. They give me a lot of stuff, compliance, all the stuff that I really need so I could just focus on the clients. But I really strive to, build my own brand because I wanted to have my own identity. I wanted something different than everything else that's out there because I felt like I was offering something different. So it just kind of
Right.
went, it just made sense.
Okay. And so, what did you feel that you were offering that was different than some of the bigger box real estate offices?
I think we like as agents that are like in production, like people
Hmm.
that are doing this full time, that have a good book of business, that are just established. I think we all, for the most part, set out to do the same thing, right? We all want to do right by our clients. We all take our responsibility for that, the fiduciary responsibility very seriously. Um, but I think at the end of the day, it's all about the execution. It's all about like how does that actually get delivered? We all have that intent and we all deliver it to a certain degree. But I felt like establishing my own brand, my own identity, and it's a way for me to be able to stand out, to deliver that platinum service that I've always wanted to be known for. And quite frankly, I don't. It's one of those things where I feel like you're never there. It's always it's something to always be improved upon, to always learn and grow. I'm never satisfied ever with the delivery of what I call the platinum promise. And it's something we could always just improve on over time.
Yeah, absolutely. I can understand the wanting to stand out and differentiate yourself. There's so many real estate agents. I mean, you can throw a rock and hit a real estate agent in any direction, maybe five of them.
Yeah.
And so we all want to stand out and we all want to be different. To have your own brand, let alone your own brokerage, is huge because that really differentiates you from every other agent that, say, works at one of the bigger brands, right? That has 500 agents working for them. How do they differentiate themselves? I know personally, I've had clients that have said, "Oh, we went with your company because I was at a big box brokerage," and clients don't understand that we're all independent contractors, and so they said, "Oh, we went into an open house, but don't worry, we used your company." And a lot of people don't understand that that's no, I am my own company, right? SAC Platinum Realty is its own company, and all of the agents that join it are little businesses inside of SAC Platinum Realty. And now SAC Platinum Realty is the number one brokerage in Rancho Cordova. That's correct?
Yeah, number one boutique, definitely. I mean, I suppose you could probably take a big box and you add up all the individual agents there, and maybe maybe one or two of them might like exceed, but definitely number one boutique for sure by a mile.
Okay.
Um, yeah, that's true. And the being number one in Rancho Cordova was definitely, I think, something that I set out to do. Uh, what what motivated me to really start at my own brokerage, aside from everything else that I already said, is that at that point when in 2019, when I established SAC Platinum Realty, I have experienced some great success. Probably about 5 solid years of a tremendously growing business, a lot of things going the right way for me. And I felt not only was I going to be carve out my own identity in SAC Platinum Realty, but I also felt it was going to be an opportunity to create a platform for others to do the same. Because I'm a believer in giving back, right? And if I am able to experience a certain level of success, I figure something out. So that's something right, you know. uh, hey, what if I could then take that and teach other people to do the same, help other people grow, think the way I think, approach selling real estate the way I've approached selling real estate, and in establishing that brand, my own brokerage, allows me to do that.
Yeah. So, what makes SAC Platinum really different from the other brokerages in the Sacramento region?
Well, I would say the level of support that we offer our agents, I'm I'm proud to stack it up against anybody else that's out there. I've there was a time where I always wanted to be better. I always wanted to be better. I wasn't quite there, but I was going in the right direction. I feel like, and I'm never there, never arrived, like I said before, but I feel now I'm confident to say, like, bring it. Like, I will take the support that we offer and the tools and resources that we have at our brokerage versus anybody else. I don't care if you're big box or whatever. I think I could go toe to toe with anybody on that level. And then on top of that, to not only do we have the support, but we could show you how to build your business. We can show you, and then we could provide you the support to build your business, because we also have the opportunities here where we have inbound inquiries coming into our office that we are handing to other agents on the team that have demonstrate the ability to work and earn it. So it's
Okay.
definitely a big way to, I mean, like, at the end of the day, what do other agents want? They want support. They want opportunities. They want to learn. They want to grow.
Mhm.
That's who we are.
I love that. And so on when you join SAC Platinum Realty, it's not just a brokerage that houses your license and you work your own business. It's actually providing you with business opportunities, leads.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It is definitely here, if you want it, and if you can demonstrate like a certain kind of ability to perform, and we slowly warm you up, and we don't just say, here you go, here's thousands and thousands of opportunities right in front of you, right?
Right.
Like, we got to slowly turn on control the governor a little bit on that one. So make sure that we're not overwhelming people. But there's definitely going to be a lot of opportunities here for other agents to take on leads. We have them coming from all different kinds of sources, from online sources, from our own marketing of our own listings. That's a big one personally, is that, look, when I'm talking to sellers, I tell them, look, my job is to not only do I run the business, but I focus on sellers. And in focusing on the sellers, my job is to generate inquiries, generate leads. And then those leads go to the other agents on the team. And their job is to convert those leads and bring them back to the listings. And if they're not interested in a listing, then okay, well, fine. We'll go to other places. But when I'm sitting down with a seller and I'm telling them, look, my job is just to make the phone ring on your home.
Right.
And that's what I do. And then that comes back around to the rest of the team.
Love it. Okay, so let's switch gears just a little bit. What's your perspective on the current real estate market in Sacramento?
So over the last year, I've been a little bearish on the market. I've been warning my sellers about like how to price things correctly, not be aggressive, be mindful. Like, you know, when everybody is stagnant, I'm thinking of one specific property that I sold last year in North Natomas.
Hmm.
Nothing was moving. No homes were selling. Nothing was moving. It was ugly. And I'd report back to him on a weekly basis, like, no new listings, no new pendings, nothing. And I told him, I'm like, look, and this was late summer. And I'm like, look, something's got to budge and somebody's going to be doing a price reduction. And the person that does the price reduction is going to be the person that's going to get that buyer. So we could either chase that market down and be the second or third person to do a price reduction, or we could be the first person to do the price reduction and get that next buyer, because it's inevitable that somebody's going to be reducing their price. So we might as well beat everybody to it and get that buyer while we can, because nothing was moving. And I think that example is kind of emblematic of how I felt 2025 was. But
Mm, good point.
2026 is feeling a bit different.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at in 2026 is interesting. I am a bit bullish on 2026. I think we're going to see what happened right now in 2023 repeat itself. So what happened, if you recall, in 22, the market peaked in late spring, early summer. When the interest rates started climbing past 4%, the market peaked and the prices started dropping. It precipitously dropped 10% through December of 22. And there was no reason to think that that was going to stop. It was just a little bit of a free fall, to be honest. Yeah. But then January rolls around, January 23, starts going back up inexplicably. I just don't know, like it just started. Yeah. And interest rates hadn't dropped that much. They were still in the sevens, but they started the prices started going back up again. And it was a steady climb for 23, 24, and then it plateaued in 25. So yeah, the market was flat for 25 for the most part, slight decline. And then now I could see, and actually maybe it ended a little bit of a larger decline. But now I could see this January kind of halting that and rebounding, because what we're going to see right now is going to be coinciding with the administration going into a new phase of quantitative easing. They are going to be printing money to buy the bonds.
Yeah.
And that's how they're going to be paying for this debt, is by printing money. And they're doing a trial run at it where they're going to be printing about $200 billion and with the intent to lower interest rates. I think we're going to see these lower rates. I think we're going to see the market respond positively to it. And I think that the administration is going to be testing the tolerance for inflation. So if inflation stays within 3%, they're going to continue doing it. If they see it go above 3%, they'll probably taper back on it. But I think we can see interest rates, our 30-year fix right now, as of today, January 19th, 2026, is our lender just quoted us 5.998% for conventional financing.
Pretty good.
Yep, pretty good. And we might see that drop. And as we see that drop rolling into the springtime simultaneously,
Yeah.
I think we're going to see some more buyers come into the market, especially now that we're just used to these interest rates. It's not a shock anymore.
That's a good point. That's what was rolling through my head when you were talking about the 2023 pricing uptick. And it really, and when I was in that time, I thought, oh, we're going to be fine. We're going to see something move down. As real estate agents, we're going to be fine in our business. We're going to see the pricing go down because of interest rates, and then people are going to get used to it. They're going to give up essentially, and they're going to say, well, if I want to own a house, this is what I'm going to have to pay. And I think a lot of people use the old, well, I'll just refinance when interest rates go down, which is absolutely a possibility too. So yeah, I think it's very, very interesting when people think that markets are going to stop because of inflation or pricing or interest rates. And they really don't, because we're a consumer society, and home ownership is still the number one way to build independent wealth. And so it's the easiest way to build independent wealth in the grand scheme of things, because you have to pay for housing. So, I think that as long as our real estate market stays regulated, right? As long as loans stay regulated the way that they are now, we probably won't ever see a crash again. Because of, I think a lot of people thought that. They thought we were going to see a crash again, right? Were you
Yeah.
hearing that? Yeah.
No, yeah, we're not going to be seeing any crash. I think that the only way you see crashes is if there's bubbles.
Yeah.
And so you have to say we are either in a bubble or we're not in a bubble. And I would argue that a lot of people who got their 2% and 3% mortgages, those homes, I don't want to say will never go on the market, but people that would have normally considered selling their home are not going to sell their home.
Yeah.
This is inventory that is not going to go on the market that otherwise would have. And therefore, it's causing a housing shortage. The supply of homes, the availability of homes. We're not getting the kind of movement that we would normally get. And if you have homes that are not coming on the market that would otherwise come on the market, that means the supply is shrinking. Supply shrinks, that means prices go up. Or at least there's a baseline for support. And that's where I'm thinking that we're not going to be seeing any kind of crash, anything like that. We can see corrections, sure.
Yeah.
The economy goes into recession and income goes down, sure. We can see, things like that happen. Can we see foreclosures? Absolutely. That's going to happen. But what caused the big crash of 2012 was that everybody back then was, or not 2012, but 2008 through 2012, what we saw was nobody had any skin in the game. People were doing 100% financing.
Yeah.
So when you got into a home and you did 100% financing and then you're instantly upside down, nobody had an incentive to pay their mortgage and stay in the home. And a lot of people did strategic defaults, and that overwhelmed the banks. And because the banks were overwhelmed, it just encouraged it even more, because I knew people that sat in their foreclosed home, or not even foreclosed yet. It was just forever in foreclosure for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to stay in their home for 3 years and not make a mortgage payment? Hello.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
and you have no money in it. It's like, what incentive, right? So it caused people to they just had, those were the incentives, and people respond to incentives. So we're not looking at any kind of incentives like that. Sure, you could see some decline in income due to a recession. Sure, you could see some foreclosures, but and which will cause some, possible price declines. But those are just normal market adjustments that go along the way. And then you're going to have a bunch of people come in and swoop up that inventory. And then the recessions typically last 18 months. And then 18 months later, you're back out of it. And then you're climbing again, and people will quickly forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think another factor that we're going to see with the lack of inventory specifically is equity and capital gains tax. It used to be that a $250,000 gain which you can claim tax free as an individual person, or the $500,000 gain that you can claim tax free as a married couple. That used to cover pretty much all of your gain, and you were paying zero taxes, and so people were happily downsizing, right? Like people would downsize, take their gain, buy something smaller, maybe even take their tax gain with them, right? With their Prop 13 in
Yep.
California. But a lot of these homes have gained so much equity over the time. Like think about someone that has owned their home since the 80s or even the 90s now. They're probably sitting on like 750,000 of equity if they've paid off their home. They're not going to pay taxes on the 250 gain when they can just keep their home, pull a loan. I just kind of see this happening
Well, let
where,
me take the one step further. So the baby boomer generation, we're about to see the largest transfer of wealth in history.
right?
Basically, all of those people, and what was going to happen is that they are doing estate planning,
Mm.
and they are planning on keeping their homes and then passing their homes on to the family. They do not want to sell it ideally ahead of time because they, like you're suggesting,
Yeah.
they are going to have gains. Maybe one person has passed away, so that leaves one person remaining. And if that one person remains, that's only a $250,000 exemption. So what they would rather do is stay in the home, and then when they pass, then the inheritance will be, they'll have a step up in cost basis,
Right.
and that means zero gain. And then at that point, the heirs may sell the home for zero capital gains.
Right. Because it's inherited.
Yeah, because you get the step up in cost
Yeah.
basis. But yes, they'll be paying property taxes based off of the new step up, but that's a small fee to pay as opposed to paying, tens and tens of thousands of
Oh, yeah.
dollars in gains or hundreds of, I mean, if you're looking at a, $500,000 gain that's, would be otherwise taxable, that's $100,000 tax bill.
Absolutely. And who wants to pay that?
Yeah,
In
no,
general, and in general, even when we have a great economy and everything's going really well, who actually wants to give up that much money when there's a loophole for a tax loophole that you can use? There's really no reason for it to happen. So I think that's also creating a housing shortage for us, is people
a
not
little
moving.
bit. And it's also, by the way, side note, for those of you that don't have a trust and that are up there in age,
Yeah.
estate planning is a serious matter. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars that could impact your family, and or at least probate fees if you don't have
Oh,
something in place. So you definitely want to talk to a trust attorney. If you need a referral, talk to Amy. She'll
yes.
connect you, right? It's important. It's important. We do all things real estate. All things real estate. And if we don't touch it, we know who to refer it to. So if you need like everything from HVAC to attorneys, like this is what we
Absolutely.
do.
Yeah, and I think I'm really grateful for the internet. I think that there are more and more people understanding investments and understanding trusts and all those things, right? I just think there's more awareness now than has ever been before. And if you're not looking for that information, you're not finding it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so really we need to talk
Yeah.
about it more and more and more of how people can really protect their assets, especially from probate, because I'm in a probate right now and it's ridiculous the amount of money that my client has to spend on attorneys. And then they add this professional and this professional and this professional, and you have this fee and that fee. And then the time it takes, all that time, mortgages due. There's just so much that comes along with it that you're not prepared for.
Yeah.
And if you would have spent $700 and just put it in a trust, right?
Yeah.
Spend a couple grand, put it in a trust, put a will together, you avoid all of that. I think it's how humans are. We avoid the upfront cost in the
Yeah.
moment because we don't see the benefit, but the benefit is actually quite large when it comes to trusts and wills. It's important
Yeah.
to have for sure. Yeah.
Definitely. No, for
Okay,
sure.
so let's switch gears again back to the area that your office is in and where you specialize. What do you think Rancho Cordova, or why do you think Rancho Cordova has been such a strong competitive real estate market? Because it is. It's a fast growing
Mhm.
city right now.
Mhm. It is the fifth fastest growing city in the state of California. Uh, the government, local government here, it's incorporated. They have a lot of reserves in the bank. Last time I checked, I believe they had $90 million in the bank.
Nice.
Not bad for a city.
That's not bad at all.
No, no, they have one of the healthiest balance sheets in the state of California. It was
Wow.
really remarkable, and they're looking to deploy that money in terms of road improvements and things like that around here. So they have plans for these kinds of things to improve the city, and they will be spending that money. But yes, Rancho Cordova is growing. City leadership is excellent. Um, the reason why I think the new parts of Rancho Cordova and the 95742 zip code is experiencing almost all the growth in the area, and it's also part of the Elk Grove Unified School District, which makes it very attractive. A lot of people are looking to be in that school district. And it's a little bit less expensive than Elk Grove, but yet you still get newer homes, nice community,
Yeah.
nice amenities that are nearby. Especially if you're in Anatolia, you've got the clubhouse, free internet, all part of the HOA, and it's only for like $100 a month.
Right.
Um, and then there's going to be future growth in the area that people are looking forward to because you're also going to have a new elementary school that's going to be built by, is it the end of this year? I think it's the end of this year that
Yeah.
school is going to be built. And then you're going to have new high school by the end of the decade. It's going to be built in the zip code.
Okay.
And then also directly adjacent to Rancho Cordova on the opposite side of Grant Line, you have a new city being built, the city of Braden, California. It's going to be something new,
Interesting.
and it's going to have its own town center and the whole thing.
Okay.
And
And where's
if you
that
could
located?
imagine, what's that?
Where's that located?
So Chrysanthi and Grant Line.
Okay. So
So
much farther south. Yeah, the southern
So, so,
part of
so
Rancho.
Chrysanthi Boulevard cuts right through the middle of Anatolia, and if you were to take that all the way, like maybe 3 miles to the end where it tees into Grant Line Road, I don't know
Okay.
if it's 3 miles or so, but it sounds about right, maybe 3, 4 miles, something like that. It tees into Grant Line Road, and then right on the opposite side, you're going to see all the tractors over there right now moving
Okay.
dirt, and they're building a new town center over there for the town of Braden. And so
Interesting.
if you could imagine being in Rancho Cordova, being part of the Elk Grove School District, having a new high school, having a new elementary school, and then having a town center across the street, let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen a lot of expansion happening, especially into the southern part of Sacramento. That seems to
Hmm.
be a big expansion effort, and north as well. They're moving more north. In fact, every time they expand, it seems like we get closer and closer and closer. It gets easier and easier to go to the places that seem so far away.
Basically,
Um,
Folsom and Rancho Cordova are going to combine at some point in time.
I can already feel it because I go to Folsom I live in Rancho and I drive to Folsom for all kinds of stuff. And it used to feel so far away and now it's right down the street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's coming closer. They're moving south of the freeway, and they're moving to the west. Rancho Cordova is south of the freeway, moving to the east.
Yeah. Sacramento has expanded quite a bit, especially in the last 10 years. We used to
Hmm.
be considered a smaller town, and I don't think that we'll be considered a smaller town for very much longer. We're growing exponentially. 75,000 homes where you're talking about in between Rancho Cordova and Folsom. Isn't that 75,000 homes are being built out there,
That's a
projected?
crazy number.
Yeah, so we're growing exponentially. And then all the businesses that are coming in. In fact, let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
What's exciting about business and the future of Rancho Cordova right now?
Okay. Chamber of Commerce and the Economic Development Team in the Rancho Cordova, they're great. They're awesome. Very pro growth city.
Yes.
Very pro business city. They're doing what they can to to make things happen. They just recently announced an AI campus here, sponsored by NVIDIA and gosh, what was the other company? Solidyne, I think it
Mhm.
is, and they're opening up an office on White Rock Road as well. So we got some big companies coming in to Rancho Cordova. We also have new developments happening in Rancho Cordova as well. One of the biggest business of them all, I guess you could say right now, is the development project for the downtown Dova. So Rancho
Yes.
Cordova is going to be building a new arena, 7,500 seat arena, which is going to be the anchor for a new sports and entertainment district. Uh, yeah, it's really exciting. I'm actually part of the development team. Uh, very fortunate to be an investor that came in early on in the project.
Yeah.
One of the first investors here, and I'm just excited to be a part of this whole thing.
That is super exciting. I think it's going to be great. We had Arco. Arco is, I don't know what they're doing with it now, but it's no longer a concert venue. And then we have Wheatland. We can drive all the way out to Wheatland. That's an outdoor venue for
Yep,
concerts. But these are
yep,
just concert places and not so much sports. And then we
yep.
have downtown. Downtown is where we go for sports and entertainment. And we need something in between. Sacramento needs something in between that all, something that's closer to the Citrus Heights area, the Orangevale area, right? I mean, that's how I've always felt. I felt like it was so far away from where I primarily hang out and live. I think it's going to be so great to have something right down the street now that we can go
It's
to.
going to be great for a lot of people. If you really think about it, we're just downstream from Folsom and El Dorado
Hmm.
Hills, and in between them and downtown.
Yeah.
So it's a great location, great destination, right off the
Mhm.
freeway. It's going to provide a lot of opportunity for everybody. We're going to develop it. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a movie theater. We're going to have
Oh, that's
There's a lot
great.
of business that are looking to go into the place, and it's going to be remarkable. I've seen the renderings. There are
Yeah.
some public renderings right now that look amazing, but I've seen other stuff that nobody's seen, and it will blow your socks off. It is very exciting. Um, Sacramento is it's funny. We're the only top, at least top 25 market, maybe even probably top 35 market, honestly, that doesn't have an arena between 5 and 10,000 seats.
Yeah.
We either have the Golden One Arena, which holds
Yes.
17,000 people, or a high school gym.
Right.
You I mean,
Right.
in all fairness, in Lincoln, you have the venue, which
Hmm.
is a over at the
Right.
casino, but it's a 4,500 seats, which is nice, but it's theater style, so it's limited in what you can do with it. So there's no sports. You can either do concerts and comedy,
Hmm.
and that's it, right? Like it's a theater style. It's pretty much all you can do. But with an arena, you can do everything. Everything from conventions to sports. We're going to be having a major arena soccer league there.
That's
There's going to be a
cool.
lot of amazing, fun sports. And actually, I'm talking. Somebody reached out to me over the weekend about another professional sports team that
That's
I'm
great.
going to be giving them a call back here shortly.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that having that in between space too offers new entertainment because we've got our 17,000 seat performers and sports teams, and those tickets come at a price, right?
Yeah.
Those
And
tickets are
then you
much
have
more
eight.
expensive than maybe a performer that comes to Thunder Valley. But again, that's only 4,500 seats. So you're only going to get a lower a cheap not cheaper but a lower price performer or a
Yeah,
very high price performer, and we
that's
need
right.
variety. We need more
Yeah.
things to we have a lot to do in Sacramento. We do, and that's why I started this podcast, and that's why I have my YouTube channel, because people think this is like a sleepy boring town, and they're so mistaken.
The
But
development that's happening, everything, the restaurants in Sacramento, the restaurant scene has really grown. Oh my
yeah,
gosh, has it really, really grown? And then with all the expansion in Roseville, I mean, they're going to be building that new surfing facility with the
yeah,
wave machine, right? Like that's going to be really cool. Rancho, we've got the arena. That's going to be freaking
yeah,
awesome. Folsom is going to be building their own sports complex with like like a 2,500 seat arena for hockey. and they're going to be having like outdoor lacrosse and things like that over there in off of Prairie City. Sacramento is going to have another venue that's going to be probably similar size to what our arena is. We'll see how long their development team takes.
Yeah.
That's going to be outside of the new soccer stadium that's being built in Sacramento.
Yeah.
So, my gosh, I mean, it's like Sacramento is where you want to be right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's smart. When they built the new arena and they moved the Kings over there, and we have our baseball team. I just think we can expand. We have Republic, but we need some more. We need some more.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with having multiple teams. We were just watching football yesterday, and I said, LA has two teams.
Yeah.
Like, why?
And, and-
Where's our team?
oh yeah, they have two soccer teams too. They have the LA
Yeah,
Galaxy and LAFC. I mean,
yeah,
so that's LA for you. But one of the things that people look at these things and they think, oh, what a waste of money. Oh, like, well, first of all, it's a private investment, right?
yeah.
But second of all, you're missing the bigger picture. It's not just about amenities. It's not just about having things to do. When a town has things to do, it becomes an attractive place to live.
Hmm.
Employers are looking for office space
Yeah.
in a location that their employees are going to want to live.
Hmm.
There is a reason why the Bay Area is what it is.
Yeah.
People who live in the Bay Area love the Bay Area. There are so many people that are just loyal to the Bay Area because they just love the lifestyle. They love what it offers. They love San Francisco. They love all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And for good reason. But, who wants to move to Sacramento, sleepy town, right?
Exactly. That's what I mean. And it has been a bit of a sleepy town. It really has. I love Sacramento. I think it's beautiful. We have a ton of trees. We have farm to fork.
Yep.
We have like all the great stuff, but it's always felt kind of like for lack of a better word, a cow town. And I've always said that, like
Yeah.
we have more farmland and forest and trees than we really do city. But I think that's going to change. I think in the next couple years, it's really going to change, and I will not be able to say that anymore.
No, no, it's going to be great. And I really do think, especially Rancho Cordova, I think it is primed for being the hub of a lot of these changes because it's
Yeah,
got the room to grow and we're adding more amenities. We've got good school districts. We've got like a lot of the things that,
great.
your typical employee are looking for. And if you are an NVIDIA,
Mhm.
why wouldn't you want to have a campus in Rancho Cordova,
Right?
where you could have an arena, a new downtown that's activated all of the time with great restaurants and fantastic hotels and amenities, things to do, 40,000 square feet, probably could move up to 200,000 square feet of retail
Right.
space. I mean, it's going to be awesome. And it's going to
Absolutely.
be get high paying jobs in the area. And people miss that part of the equation a lot.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's only better for our citizens, and then it'll bring in new citizens. It's just all of it is growth, and growth is good. Um, Hopefully they'll do something with Sunrise Mall.
Mm,
Either turn it into something that can connect, right? So we have two locales that we can go to hang out, maybe like an outside restaurant shopping experience, or housing, just something. Because I
yeah,
think that Citrus Heights had the same opportunity that Rancho Cordova had, and they missed it.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I
I
think I
think.
think they missed the opportunity there. I'm not sure like what the background is over there, to be honest with you, but yeah, that Sunrise Mall is definitely a missed opportunity.
Yeah, that was a huge space that with a side lot across the street. They have a street running through Sunrise. There's just a lot of opportunity there,
Yeah,
and I'm not sure what held them back, but that's okay. Rancho Cordova took it. Their government and planning department obviously is working really hard to bring opportunities here. I mean, I see new news posts coming out almost every week with some development that's happening in Rancho Cordova, be it, more signs for advertising or new businesses or new buildings being built or it's really growing fast.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of, yeah, there's going to be, I forget how many homes they're going to be building right off of International Drive in Kilgore.
Wow.
But there was, I don't remember how many acres because it's an empty land, like in prime location on International Drive. Um, I don't know, I want to say like 150 homes, something like that. They're going to be building right there. So I mean, that's like almost an infill project. I mean, there's so many great opportunities out here for sure.
Yeah.
And it's great to be SAC Platinum Realty because this is where we specialize. This is our backyard. Our office is in the heart of it in Capitol Village. Um, I'm really looking forward to all of the real estate opportunities that Rancho Cordova has and the positioning that SAC Platinum Realty is taking with all of that to be first, like hopefully when people think of real estate in Rancho Cordova, they're thinking of our firm.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of that, agents that you want to partner with, right? A lot of times, I think people don't know about Rancho Cordova, and they don't know that being a part of a brokerage in Rancho Cordova can actually offer you opportunity because of all of these new builds that are coming in, the businesses that are coming in. Honestly, it might not be a brokerage that a lot of people know about, right? But that's kind of why I brought you on because I love it. And I think that other people could find the benefit. Um, but specifically, what kind of qualities do you look for in agents that you want to be a part of the SAC Platinum family?
People that believe in personal growth and development. This is being a realtor is like no other business that I could imagine. I mean, it it exposes you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to really grow in this business to succeed, and you have to grow personally, mentally. Um, it requires the desire. The person that's going to fit well on my team is going to be the person that is interested in personal growth.
Okay.
That's going to be the number one quality because I've got a lot of stuff to share with the agents, and I invest heavily in education and in the growth for those agents to give people a good solid platform on which they can build their business. But you have to have a growth mindset if you're going to come work here because if you don't, it's just not going to be a good fit.
Okay. And when you say someone needs to have a growth mindset, what do you mean specifically?
It means adopting new ways of doing things. It means it's not that one way is right or like that's not what I'm suggesting. Like there's a right way to do it and you're doing it the wrong way. It's not what it is. But there's going to be skills and that you're going to learn along the way that you need to incorporate into your day-to-day activity. And I see it with agents on the team right now that are implementing the things that they are hearing and that they are seeing, and they're seeing a fundamental change in their business to the positive.
Right.
And if you're going to be joining our team, like you have to adopt that attitude because nothing would drive me more crazy than for me to offer what we offer in terms of the training and the support and not take advantage of it. It's like, what's the point? Like
Yeah.
you could just if you want to be a truly solo agent and do your own thing and not get plugged into any of the tools and resources that we have. There's I mean, there's plenty of big box brokerages out there that you might be a better fit for.
Okay.
But we're boutique and we're boutique for a reason.
Right. Because you want a certain kind of agent on the team. You want them to do certain activities. You want them to get certain results. This is so much more than just, hey, hang your license here and do whatever you kind of want to do with your business. You're not looking for just referral agents or
Yeah, like
yeah.
we've got the platinum way of doing things, and I want them to adopt the platinum way, right? Like it's a certain level. If you're not reinvesting in your own education, like go somewhere else. I want people, if you're going to be at SAC Platinum Realty and not reinvest in your education, I mean, you're just not going to fit in.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You,
That's a
you
good
know,
point.
everybody's doing it. Everybody's trying to get additional certifications. Everybody's trying to do, different kinds of training and do all those things to improve themselves. So it's like you're going to be the person on the outside looking in.
Oh, that makes a really good point. It's just not the culture, the cultural fit wouldn't be there because,
Yeah.
you're not on board with everyone else that's kind of moving in a forward direction.
And I'll add this too. If you think about it, there's a lot of great brokerages out there,
Yeah.
and they're all like a different flavor. And so one person might like one flavor versus another, and there's nothing wrong with all of these brokerages.
Yeah.
Some of them have different splits and different, but they offer different things. It's all about different values because I was with one before, but I didn't use any of the tools, like I said. So what was the point, right? Like, I'd rather pay more to somebody else where I used all of their tools.
Right.
So it actually meant something to me. And if you're if you're going to come here and not use any of our tools and any of our resources, it's like, okay, well, I mean, I guess, but you're not going to be here long because you're not going to find the value for you. But for the people that do find the value, because this is the flavor that they like, they're going to fit right in, and then they're going to, appreciate what we offer.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And I have felt that. I've been with multiple different brokerages, some of them that provide nothing and then some of them that provide everything. And it's really about what do you need? Where are you with your business? Where are you with
Mhm.
your business? And what do you really want to achieve? And then you got to find the right brokerage that's going to fit that. But personally, from my experience of being on the team, I think that if someone's struggling, if a real estate agent is struggling, I don't care how long you've been in this business, you could have been in the business for 10 years to just started last week. If you're struggling to find direction and you're struggling to find business, then a team like SAC Platinum Realty is a great place for you to get hooked up with because you're not on your own. You don't have to figure it out. They have systems, they have training, they have tools and leads for you to work with. I think that especially after the last couple years in real estate, 400,000 agents got out of the business and 75% of agents didn't even sell a home last year. So going into 2026, we might see an uptick in the market, but things have changed. Things are just very different. And unless you have been, like you said, actively working over the last couple years to gain some maybe new designations, some new skills, you might have the same experience of last year that you have this year. Just because the market's changed an uptick and there's an uptick doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to benefit from that. Am I making
Yeah.
sense?
Well, it makes perfect sense. I mean, you do have to adapt. You do have to change. You do have to ask yourself, what am I doing different this year than last year if you want to have a different result? Because you're not going to get a different result if you keep doing the same thing. So what's going to change?
And
Either
I
you
think
have to change, your brokerage has to change, something has to change if you want to have a different result.
you're right. Yeah. And forgive me, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was going to
No,
say,
that's
uh, the consumer has changed. The consumer has changed, and they are looking for agents that are experts, right? Like they're looking for someone that actually knows the contract forwards and backwards, has the experience, knows the area, knows the area, understands really what they're looking for on a deeper level. Because I think buyers don't always know what they're looking for. They want you to help them find it. And
Mhm.
if you don't even know what's going on in the area, how can you help them find what they don't know that they're looking for? Right.
Yep. Yep.
So I think the level of expertise and service has changed. We have to give better service than we've ever given before, especially with, forgive me, especially with the new paperwork that's required, the new buyer representation agreement in
Yeah.
place. When people have to sign a contract with you, they really need to know that they're going to
Yeah.
get something
You have
for
to
it.
earn it. It's
Yeah,
not like I'm going to open a door. It's like, no, no, no. Like, I'm more than a door opener.
yeah,
I'm, I've got a fiduciary responsibility and I take that seriously. And I'm going to demonstrate it with every one of our interactions.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. What mistakes do you see agents making? Not necessarily just newer agents, like across the board. What mistakes do you see agents making um, that really you think is hurting their business?
Oh, well, the number one mistake that agents make is the failure to be proactive in their business and they become reactive. And the solution to that is to let your calendar run your day
Okay.
because you have to be intentional about what you're setting out to do in a day.
Mhm.
And if you are like not knowing what you need to do, it's only because you didn't give it enough thought ahead of time and plug it
Right.
into your calendar.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be prospecting from, 8 to 10 and then, follow-up calls from 10 to 12 or whatever and go on your lunch and go on a point, right? Like you've got to figure out what you're going to be doing from day to day. Who are you going to be calling? Who are you going to be taking out for
Yeah.
coffee? Who are you going to be, what event you're going to be planning to maybe have a first-time home buyer seminar or, whatever the case, whatever, however you like to approach the business. But you have to be proactive and if you are not there yet, um, let your calendar like control your day.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Put it in your calendar and then just do whatever it tells you to do. Make
Yep.
make someone else your boss.
Yep.
That's what I've been saying for so long is that we get into real estate because we want to be our own boss, but how good of a boss have you been in the past?
I ask agents, on one-on-ones, like, okay, if you were your own boss, would you fire yourself?
It's a good one.
It's like look in the mirror. Like, how
Yeah.
would you rate your performance as being a self-employed individual? If you were working for somebody else, would you fire yourself or would you give yourself a raise?
Yeah. That's a really, really great question. I think all of us can ask that of ourselves every day. Some of us are, well, it's never good enough. We'll always say, fire me. But really, it's a great introspective question. Like, how good am I being to my business? And so I think that your calendar, like you said, your calendar can be your boss. If you really just kind of give it up to the calendar, put
Yeah.
everything you want to do in your day in that calendar, and then just follow the schedule. And if anybody asks you to do something else, say, "Oh, I can't. My boss is my boss wants me to go to the gym. My boss wants me to make these calls." My
Yeah. And if you can't fill your calendar, join a team.
Yes.
Straight up.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to fill your calendar, like there's your answer.
That's a really good point. Absolutely. And SAC Platinum helps with that. I mean, I've seen you go through and what's going on in your calendar. What are you doing? How many? We have accountability calls every day. I mean, every single day you can get on a call and really get a mirror put up to you of
Hmm.
what are you actually doing with your time? Are you doing what you want to get done? And sometimes people shy away from that accountability, but I think it can be really paramount in your growth. It's actually better to feel uncomfortable, even if you have to feel uncomfortable for 2 weeks because you just don't do what you said you're going to do. Eventually, you're going to get tired of yourself,
Yeah.
and you're going to step up to the plate. You might
Yeah.
you might quit too, but that's better. It's better to make a decision, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that listen, this is a tough business. If you're going to be at it alone, uh, more power to you. I did it. It's hard. Um, but if I had to do it all over again, well, there weren't really teams when I first got started and not the way that there are now, right?
Yeah.
But boy, gosh, I mean, I can't even begin to tell you back in 2008 to 2012, my gosh, if I had a team I could have latched onto during those rough years, I absolutely would have because I was that agent that didn't know what to do.
Mm,
And
yeah.
then but you can join the team, you'll know what to do. And from the accountability standpoint, at least at SAC Platinum Realty, we meet you where you are.
Yeah.
It's not forced. Uh, you can't force accountability. It's you have to want it for yourself.
Right.
But we're going to try to create an environment where that is available to you. We're going to try to create the environment where we foster that mentality because we all know that having more accountability is better than not.
Right. Right. And sometimes it's just the check-in of like, checking in, and we forget to ask ourselves, did I do what I was supposed to? Did I get done what I wanted to do today? We really
Yeah.
do forget because we're living life. So it's nice to have that check in of like, oh, yeah, I actually didn't do what I said I was going to do. And after a while, you kind of have to make a choice like, is this really what I want? Or do I need to change my goal? Or do I need to change something about myself? And then we have coaching calls that you can dive in deeper about that and have some people to bounce ideas off of. And this is not just a new team for new agents. I've been in the business for over 11 years, and I find all of this very valuable because when I'm on my own, I'm not always asking those questions of myself. I'm not always checking in. I'm kind of just going through the motions of the business. And maybe I do my business planning once a year and I ask those questions. But it's nice to have that mirror put up to me almost every day of like, hey, what are you doing? What are you
Yeah.
doing? Are you doing what you said you're going to do? You know?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. So, one last question. What motivates you to keep growing and leading at this high level?
It is the quest to just be better than I was yesterday. It is. I really adopt the philosophy of this whole personal improvement, and I feel like real estate is just quintessential. Is the business itself lends itself so well to that mission, and I just want to be better than I was yesterday. And then and the more success that I have achieved, I want to bring other people along with me. I you know
Mm.
I would rather be the coach of a championship team than the MVP of the team, if that makes sense. And
Absolutely.
so that motivates me now. That's what I like.
I love it. Well, Mark, thank you so much for sharing your insights with me today. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. It was
Well,
great.
thank you, Amy. Thanks for putting this together.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're listening and you're thinking about buying or selling or even building a real estate career here in Sacramento, make sure to check out the links below. And of course, if you're planning to move to Sacramento, we're always here to help.